again. Probably the last one for tonight, unless my mind wanders off onto somewhere else. I've already talked about emotion, strength, self-validation, and now here comes the fun one. This one might be a while. Identity. Oh, this is a biggie, and I like this one because it's something that is so hard to tackle. It's such a big thing in my field. Oh, it goes deep. Heck, I'm even taking a class on theory of personality. It goes deep. So this one's gonna be a fun one. Especially since I was literally covering the topic today in my theory of personality class. We were covering Erickson, and my stage, the group that I was with, was identity versus identity fusion. So, oh boy, I'm feeding right off of what I did today. I love my field. It's so pertaining to everything else out there. But, this one, oh, I know what I should talk about. I'm sorry. A little preview for what I'll probably talk about later. Playing God. That's something I feel like talking about. Something I'm probably gonna talk about. Oh, that one's gonna be fun too. Because the exact sciences seem to love to play God recently, and I'm not okay with it. But, in this case, identity. Something that most people will probably never even know in themselves. It's kind of funny. It's what we spend most of our lives establishing, and most of the time we won't even fully establish it. Because there are so many facets to it, so many things that make us us, so many things that go into it, that there's no way that it's something that's easy to go about, or easy to tackle, or something that's definitive. It never is. I mean, heck, there's an entire course that I just said I'm taking that's dedicated to different theories of why we are who we are. If that doesn't say something, I don't know what does. This could be a huge fucking series if I wanted to be, but knowing you guys and the fact that I would probably get fun out of things to say and digress into random other things, like the legendary door on Rant that brought me to someone that's important to me, or like just made me friends just because we were talking about something that we had a shared loathing of. I don't think that needs to digress, because I don't even have to look at that again to know that I probably went so far off topic and so far away from what it actually was that I was talking about, and so far away from the actual thing that chances are it was not even on topic for half of the series. I wouldn't be surprised. But, identity. Now, I just talked about self-validation because a lot of people aren't willing to find out their identities, or find their identities based on other people and things in their life. So, I said that the reason why we tend to do this is because it's so hard to look at ourselves and find our identity. I mean, we spend most of our young life searching out who we are, trying to figure it out, trying to figure out what we want to do with our lives, who we are as a person, what we believe in. It's something that we spend so long doing that it's really no wonder that it's something that's so hard. I mean, heck, it's pretty much half of our young lives that we spend just trying to figure out who we are, and fact is, most of the time we never do. Most of the time we hit that little wall where we're like, okay, I've got a general idea of who I am. I know what I like, I know what I dislike. That's enough, right? No, it's not, and it never will be. But for most people it is, because some people don't consider identity important enough, or are willing to compromise enough because of the way life is, that having their own identity isn't that important, or it isn't something that's very pressing, or something that they want to do. Most of the time, it's what they don't want to do, because you know what you are on the outside, or at least you can have it validated through what you hear, what you experience, how you act. You can have it validated through a lot of outside sources, and therefore you could establish your identity that way. But you can only establish so much that way. There's always going to be that part of you that's not what's on the outside, and that you're ashamed of, that you don't want to admit exists, or that you know is something horrible. Like, I can't count how many times people will just go through their lives and be like, everything's fine. Oh, that is horrible. I do not like that. That's a horrible thing. Wait, where did that come? And then you'll think, wait, where did that come from? Oh my God, why am I thinking this way? Where did that come from? And then you sit there questioning, like, where did that come from? Why did that happen? And oftentimes it's that shadow, as it's been termed inside. It's like, that's a term from Jung, I believe. The persona and the shadow. The persona being the outside self that you portray to the world, and the shadow being the inner self, the things that you don't want to acknowledge. Anyone that knows the Persona series probably knows exactly what I'm talking about. Love the Persona series, so good! But, part of what makes us so afraid of our identity is because of that part. That shadow that lives inside of all of us, that bad part that represents all the bad things that we believe, that we feel, everything that's bad or negative, or could be seen as bad or negative or objectionable. That part that's inside all of us, or that part of you that you can just never accept because you don't like what you see. That's part of everyone, though. But because of that being so powerful or so scary to a lot of people, they just take what they see on the outside, the basics, so to speak, the bare bones minimum, and then go off of that as their identity. But it's by finding and dealing with that shadow that you'll really find yourself. But so many people are so afraid to do it because it's a struggle. I can say as someone that has done that and that has had to face that kind of thing, that inner self, those inner demons, that it's not easy. It is scary, and a lot of things that you see you won't like. It's understandable. Like I said, the Persona series captured that pretty damn well. It's something that doesn't match what we believe ourselves to be, something that we're ashamed of, something that we wouldn't want to exist inside of us, but it does. And when you don't face that because you're too afraid to, you'll never know yourself. One of my biggest philosophies is that you know you're leading a good life when you can look in the mirror and look at the person that you see in the mirror and say, you know what? I'm fine with what I see. Yeah, I'm not perfect. Yeah, there are some flaws that I have. Yeah, there's things that I wish I had done, or the things that I wish I could change. But it's when you look at that self and are able to accept everything that it is, that you're able to lead a pretty good life. A life where you won't have any regrets. A life where you know who you are. Where you can accept what you have and don't have to struggle with all these identity crises that you have to go through, and all these different roles that you have to play in your life, all these different masks that you have to wear. That's a big thing, masks. That's something that we all do. Something that I've grown to loathe in every way, shape, or form, but that we all have to do, and that tends to lead to identity confusion, because those masks are so big a part of our lives, and so big of the way that we go about our lives, that they sometimes just stick to your face and they don't leave, and you believe that's you. That's why most of the time you never fully do know yourself, or yourself will change and you won't even know it, so you have to go over that fight again. But most people won't, simply because it scares them and they don't want to see that. Or they're fine with what they have on the outside and they don't think they need to know, or they don't want to know. But that's not the way that you should go through your life. It's really not. There are a lot of things, yeah, you can go through your life perfectly fine without knowing it, but you really shouldn't. You're never gonna know everything about yourself, and if you can't face that, it's just gonna be some formless evil that you're gonna have to live with for the rest of your life, and you're never gonna be able to understand it, and you're never gonna be able to face it, because you aren't willing to face that side of you, and you aren't willing to know what's inside of you that you don't want to see. But it's by facing that you can turn that shadow into something different, that you can take that bad part of you and make it into something good, and make it into an asset to yourself and to others and to the world around you. But when you just shut it out, you don't know yourself, you don't know what you believe, you only have some base understanding, like, oh, I don't like that. Well, why don't you like it? I don't know, I just do. It's not an answer. And it's not one that I would accept either. Anyone can tell you, well, especially those that are around me, that have, discussed something with me, They know I don't accept things like that. I don't accept reasonings like that. I believe very thoroughly that everything has a reason. There's a meaning behind everything. There is no such thing as something that's meaningless or something that doesn't have a reason. So when you say, oh, I don't like that, and I say, why don't you like that? Sorry, computer. And I say, why don't you like that? And you just said, well, I just don't. No, that doesn't fly with me. And it shouldn't fly with you either. Because you can't just say you don't like something just because you don't. Oh, well, I don't like the way someone's talking about that. Well, why don't you? You have to have a reason. You have to have some kind of basis. You can't just not like it because you don't like it. Or, oh, I like that way of looking at things. Well, why do you? Don't know? No, that's not okay. That's just because you're just accepting things on the base surface. And me being a person that loves depth, that's not okay with me. And it really wouldn't be okay with you, because as soon as someone asks you something like that, there comes that little discrepancy between you and the way you see yourself. You don't know why. Well, I don't believe in this. This is something that offends me. Okay, why? It just is. But then that does bother you, and if you're like me, that would bother the crap out of you. Why don't I? Where did that come from? And when you don't know yourself, you don't know where it does come from, and you can't explain it. And most of the time you won't even be able to make a decision on your life because of that. Take, for example, I chose psychology because it's something that I believe very thoroughly in. I believe in helping people. I want to do the best I can. Even if I can only help a few people, just making the difference in that one life, or those few lives, would be everything to me. Just knowing that I can make that difference. Just by being there. I won't have to fucking go through hell and high water in order to do it. I can just do it by being here for you. And helping you in a situation where no one else would, where no one else could. That is everything to me. That's why I went into this field. I want to help. I want to help change people's lives, make them better, make sure that they don't have to live with regrets, they don't have to live with sorrow, that they're not alone. That is phenomenal to me, and that's something that I believe in heavily, and that is why I am doing what I'm doing. Because I love it. Not only is it interesting, I mean, fuck, I'm learning neuroscience right now. I'm learning fucking basic neuroscience right now. But it's not just interesting, it's because it's something I believe strongly in. Because it's something I've had to go through myself. I've gone through a lot on myself all alone. And I know what it's like to go through your life thinking like you're alone and like no one cares and no one's there, or that you just gotta weather with it because it's all you can do. I know very well what it's like. And I know that I can help that. And because of my experiences, because of what I believe, I was led to make this decision. And hell, I've known what I wanted to do with my life since I was like 6 because of that. I was even told, hey, you're pretty damn good at this. You might want to think about doing this. Okay. But it's because I know myself and what I believe in, that I know that that's the right decision. And I have never looked back since. And I can make a real difference in people's lives. Even now, I haven't gotten my degree. I'm only a junior. But because of what I know, I'm able to make a change in people's lives already. That's huge with me. And it's because of knowing myself, knowing what I've been through, facing myself, knowing who I am and what I believe in, that I was able to make that kind of decision. Yet I hear people that are like switching careers every few years. Heck, my mom alone was someone that switched careers 3 times. I've seen friends that have switched majors like 4 or 5 times, or haven't even gotten a single degree because they've changed their major. Like, oh well, I want to be a hairdresser now. 2 years into that, you know what? I think I want to be a surgeon. Where does that come from? I don't know. But then I hear, oh, I want to be a biologist, or oh, I want to be a firefighter. You change it and you never get anywhere because you don't know yourself. You don't know who you are. You don't know what you want. You don't know what you believe in. There's so much you don't know, and because of that, you you're never going to find yourself. And if you're not willing to take that look in the mirror and to face what you see and to face those demons inside of you and find out who you are, you're going to be so lost in life. You won't be able to explain why you don't like that concept, or why you don't like the way that people look at things, or why you want to do what you do. Most of the time it will be shaped by things around you, like with what I was talking about with self-validation. Maybe your father told you that he wanted you to be a doctor when you were little, and that's what you did. Why? I don't know. Doesn't have to do with anything. Just what I was told I should do and what I'm good at. It's not going to drive you for the rest of your life. Oftentimes by knowing yourself, you can find that drive, those things that you believe in that push you to a higher way of living, to a higher way of being, to a higher way of life in general, just a higher quality of life in general too. You're able to find those drives because there's something that you believe in, or something that you feel strongly for, or something that you're willing to fight for. I'm a huge fighter. I hate violence and everything, but I will stand and fight for what I believe until the very fucking end. And it's because I know who I am, and I know what I value, and I know what I want to stick with, because I know who I am. So many people go through their lives not understanding that, and they have so many problems because of it, and they can't explain where it stems from. Most of the time it's just because you don't know yourself. Maybe that was something that was sitting inside of you that you denied, that you pushed away, and it just ate at the inside of you all this time until finally now it's found its way out, or it's just bubbled up inside to the point that it's come to the surface and you don't know where it's from because you never faced it. Because you just took that assumed identity or those few things that you got off the surface in order to live your life because you didn't want to face everything else. You didn't need to. You didn't feel you need to. Like, what would that do for you? You couldn't say at the time, but now these things are coming back to bite you in the ass because you weren't willing to take the time to find out about yourself. You weren't able, and finding out about yourself and having your own identity not only helps you with, like, career decision, mental decisions, philosophies, ideals, it helps you with relationships and people around you, too. When you're with people and they just don't fit with you, you can't explain why you don't like it. Like, I just don't like this person. Well, why? I just don't. Chances are it's because it clashes with something inside of you. Or something that you don't like because it's something that's deeply rooted in you and you don't know. Or chances are, you're going into a relationship and you don't really know what you believe in, or you don't really know what you have, and you just kind of follow the other person because of it. You're not bringing anything to the table because you don't know yourself. And you're not benefiting anything, and there's probably going to be issues because you don't know yourself. You don't know who you are. But when you know yourself, you're able to bring something to the table. Yeah, you're probably going to steer clear of the people that you don't like because you know that you don't like them. But chances are, you're going to be able to take those things that you know about yourself in general, bring them to the table, and it's going to enrich everything for everyone. Or help you find the people that you don't mesh well with, and help you find people that you do. The kind of friends that will be the kind of people that will be there for the rest of your life. So identity is such a huge part of everything, but so many people undermine it because it's something that you don't think you need to know. But it's such an essential part of who we are, and it's such an essential part of our daily lives. It's something that can't be ignored, and it's something that I can't believe so many people go throughout their entire life without knowing. I know you can do it, and I know a lot of people do. Most do. I know very few people that really know themselves. Very few people I know actually have, like, a stable identity, a fully fleshed out identity. So few people do. In fact, I can only think of, like, 2-3 people off the top of my head that do. Most people don't. And I know you can be perfectly fine going through life with that way, but you're gonna always run up against those little barriers. You don't know why you don't like that concept. You don't know why you don't like that person. And you can't explain it, or you don't know why you're thinking or feeling this way. But it's because you don't know yourself that you are. And that can be the root of so many problems. Now, you can be like many other people and just shrug it off, brush it off the shoulder, just keep moving on. But it will keep coming to the surface. And if you're prepared to live with that, that's your choice. I'm not going to look down on you for it. That's your choice. I'm going to say it's a shame, because it is. It's going to still bother you. It's not going to be something that just leaves. But if that's your choice, I'm not going to criticize you for it. But you can really enrich your life and have a better life by knowing yourself. It's not easy, by any means. I found it out through a lot of trial and error, a lot of self-reflection. I found it out through a lot of harder, more self-inflicted means, and it took me quite a while. But I found it out early enough in life that I was able to bring my life to where it is, know who I am, know what I stand for. So I'm proud of that, and if that's your choice to not find out who you are, fine. I'm not going to tell you you can't. That's your choice. It's your life. It's not my place to exercise command over anyone. I can make suggestions, but you don't have to follow them. That's the way life is. It's up to you. You make it what it is, but you're going to be missing out. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm not going to be just silent about it. Normally would be, but that's your choice, but there's going to be a lot because of it, and I just think it's a shame that so many people go throughout their lives without having a stable identity, or having these things pop up because they just take their identity from things that, around them. And then there are people that can't answer those questions, and they don't even know why, and it causes problems. It really does. So that's my take on identity. I've gone a little bit over on this one. Like I said, I could go in a whole freaking series about this, but chances are I won't, and you guys probably don't want me to. So I think that's all for now. Next topic will probably be people playing God, which I'm kind of looking forward to, because that's a big topic. That's a big topic with me. Okay, so I will see you guys then. Bye.